Joining us now is OjyOkpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Junix.
Good morning, Dr.
Good
Abati. How are you this morning?
Good.
Perfect. Good morning, Ayo. How are you this morning?
Woman making impact.
Oh, well, thank you.
Again.
Thank you. Also a woman making impact as well. Really. Well, good morning, Rufi on fire. How are you this morning? Perfect. I'm doing okay. Well, good morning to you, viewers. Let's begin what's trending. Following up on the declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, during a press conference on Wednesday, said the emergency rule declared by the president halted the Rivers House of Assembly's impeachment proceedings against Governor Fubara and his deputy. While speaking to journalists at the State House in Abuja, the AGF insisted that the president acted within the ambit of the law.
Don't forget, I think yesterday there was a notice of impeachment from the House of Assembly. If that impeachment had been allowed to take its full course, then the governor would have lost entirely and completely. So in a way, if you say it's a compromise, I will agree that instead of allowing the impeachment process to continue, and which in the end would have seen both the governor and the deputy governor out of office and mean out for the entirety of the 4-year term with the remainder of what we have. I am certain that the president has acted timeously after giving them enough rope. When you talk of state of emergency, it's an extraordinary situation. Normally, you allow the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary to continue to function. But like I said, Section 308 envisaged that there might be situations in which extraordinary matters or events will come up, which will require suspending the normal rights or privileges of those who are involved. Things are not working in Rivers. So the justification is those who brought this to be, who caused this, must be shown in clear terms that you don't do it and get away with it. There must be consequences for our action.
There must be consequences for our actions. I mean, Dr. Abati, this AGF's press conference has been, analyzed and dissected, and he made a lot of contradicting sentences. I mean, especially this last part, him saying that those who are involved must pay. I mean, leaving out Wike, I mean, did the governor just act by himself? Did he just decide to start fighting within his party? I mean, there was a huge factor, which is Governor Wike. But the AGF and Tinubu, none of them mentioned Wike as a factor of the cause of the problem. And then he also went ahead to mention Section 308 in the Constitution, saying that they envisaged that there will be a problem in Rivers State, and that's why, the state of emergency was declared. And I guess the main crux of the issue in this particular video that I highlighted was the fact that he said, the president saved Fubara from impeachment. And I heard your analysis this morning. I mean, that would have been the better way to go. But how did they know that the impeachment process would have caused the governor to leave office? How do they know that? But let me just take one reaction, Dr. Abati. And this is from a video that's been circulating. In the meantime, a clip of Babajide Otitoju, an analyst on Journalists Hangout on TVC, condemning the unconstitutional removal of governors using Section 305 of the 1999 Constitution ahead of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's declaration of a state of emergency, has gone viral. Let's take a look.
Based on the 1999 Constitution, you cannot have a state of emergency that will send a governor packing, that will send elected representatives of the people at the state level packing for a period of time. That was an antiquated law. Nigerians will have challenged Obasanjo that this law does not exist. But he used it in a number of states. An illegal law was used to send fellowship packing. There is no such thing. And I still hear people say, declare state of emergency. Nobody nobody can declare a state of emergency in Nigeria currently because we now know the law, although many people don't know. What the 1999 Constitution precises in the state of emergency is that during that period, you can arrest people for 90 days without trial. It was an illegal law that Obasanjo used and got away with it. But after that, no Nigerian president
has tried it.
If anybody tries it, that person will fail. It does not exist in our laws anymore.
All right, Dr. Bati, you said he was referring to the State of Emergency Act 1961.
On the basis of which the Tafawa Balewa government removed the government in the Western region in 1962 and appointed Dr. Maje Kudume as the sole administrator.
All right.
But what people should also realize is that in that First Republic, we were running a parliamentary government. The premier himself was a member of parliament, so first among equals. So once you dissolve the system, it was based on that, State of Emergency Act of 1961. And that was how I said earlier on this program that we no longer have that law. That law, which was quoted during the Obasanjo period, did not exist. And that's the basis on which people are saying, the removal of democratic structures in the Ekiti and Plateau and Yobe State, was wrong under Obasanjo. And that, look, under President Jonathan also, that law does not exist. Some people have been saying it now exists.
That's what
and now I'm saying that I have not seen a copy of this, their 2018 act that some people have been quoting. Maybe there was a bill, but I'm not too sure that it passed through, the complete process. And in that light, even if that law exists, it's a subsidiary legislation. It cannot be superior to the Constitution. And to the extent that you have Section 1, Sub 2, you have Section 11, Sub 4, you have provisions under 305 also, and you have 188. That law, if it exists, is to the extent of its inconsistency with the Constitution, null and void. Simple, trite law.
Very well. But this TVC journalist, he made all these comments way ahead, right before Tinubu's broadcast, before the declaration. Did he read? Okay, he changed his mouth. Okay, go ahead.
Go
ahead.
That's why we say people should have integrity. He made all these comments before. But the man, he folded. He changed mouth afterwards. Guess what he was not quoting? He was not saying that somebody sent me about that emergency law. The TVC journalist, Babajide Otitoju. He was not quoting.
No, he's a very senior journalist.
I know, but with due respect, in this regard, you change mouths. That's just it.
How did he change?
We are talking facts.
Okay, what did he say?
Earlier before now, Dr. Abati, he said all the right things before that decision was made. But next time, yes, and yesterday, at first he blamed Fubara all through. Now he was not talking about the fact that there was an emergency law of 1961, 1962 that you were talking about.
There is 1961, yes.
And he claimed that law, somebody sent him, that had not been repealed. So people are changing mouth. See, when we should be able to call people out, we call journalists out when they go astray. That's the ethics of this job. We're not doing it because we are doing paddy or friendship here. We are saying it because that's just it. Coming back to the main matter at hand, as regards even the decision made in the first place, with due respect, it shows that Mr. Lateef Fagbemi, the Attorney General, didn't even have strong points of reference in his arguments. The point about the pipeline that was bombed, Oji, do you know that the pipeline started working back today? The pipeline is back on today. So all of that was just to be able to give somebody a bad name. That's just it. Let's call a spade here.
Well, all right. Before I want to just unpack the whole system. You said that this TVC journalist, has changed his stance at this point.
Babajide Otitoju.
Otitoju.
Yes.
Well,
he's an experienced journalist. Don't just say TVC journalist.
See, I just say TVC journalist because obviously it's easier for me not to pronounce Otitoju, but now you have taught me how to do it. Well, all right. In the meantime, in a controversial move, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Wednesday swore into office retired Vice Admiral Ibok-Étè Ibas as the sole administrator of Rivers State during a brief ceremony witnessed by Femi Gbajabiamila, the Chief of Staff to the President, and the Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi, eliciting a wave of reactions.
Vice Admiral Ibok-Étè Ibas most analysts were afraid that I would be faithful and bear to allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, but I would preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So help me God.
All right, let me take a reaction really quickly. This is from Inibehe Efyong, and I love to quote him because he's a lawyer as well. Well, he wrote a long tweet, and I'll read some parts. He wrote, "The Supreme Court decided that the statutory allocations due to Rivers State should be withheld because the governor did not recognize the House of Assembly and did not present the budget before the said House for passage." Well, President Tinubu claims that Governor Fubara, who had written to the same House to enable him present the budget, has failed to obey the Supreme Court. The same Tinubu went ahead to appoint a sole administrator after suspending the governor, deputy governor, and the members of the House of Assembly. Now we are reading that the withheld allocations were released to the sole administrator, who is nothing but an imposter, concocted capriciously by the president. How do you reconcile this? If it was right for the allocations to be withheld because there was no House of Assembly due to the governor's refusal to present budget before the House, on what legal, moral, or logical basis are you releasing the same allocations to a sole administrator after suspending the governor and the House? Is the sole administrator a constitutional substitute for the House of Assembly and the governor? Well, in the meantime, drama unfolded in the House of Representatives as two female PDP lawmakers engaged in a heated shouting match over the constitutionality of the president's decision to declare a state of emergency in Rivers State before plenary began. Let's take a look. I mean, this is not something I wanted to see yesterday, but you can feel their growls with this declaration of a state of emergency at this moment. In Rivers State, residents trooped out to protest against the president's declaration of a state of emergency. Veteran actress Hilda Dokubo, who is an indigene of the state, described the crisis as a deliberate attempt to destabilize the state. Let's take a look.
I will say it over and over and over. What's going on in Rivers State is not similar in Fubara. What's going on in Rivers State is a comeback for the economic soul of Rivers State. Somebody wants to grab the economic soul of Rivers State.
This is not right. This is not right. We are at peace. Let our children, let our families be at peace. Let people go to work at peace. All these army people driving about, this is not right. This is not right. This is not right.
All right, my heart goes out to them. Meanwhile, an eyewitness recorded a video showing a heavy military presence in Port Harcourt. In the video, the eyewitness claimed that soldiers were arresting people making videos of their presence in the state. Let's take a look.
See what is happening in Rivers State, where we have state of emergency because of someone was videoing and the person was caught. Someone was holding the camera and they had to stop and arrest the person. Soldiers are everywhere in Rivers State. Like, it's crazy. Even here, if you look.
No, this needs to be investigated. Yeah. Nobody has any right to pick up anyone because they are filming at this moment. I'll just read Atedo's tweets before I come to you, Ayo, just to sum up this whole Rivers crisis. Atedo Peterside wrote on X, "On the Rivers State crisis, all eyes are on the National Assembly. A 2/3 majority cannot be achieved via a voice vote. Members voting for or against the resolution to ratify the president's emergency actions must identify themselves and cast their votes individually," because we did see that report that there's, people that they might not even get enough votes to.
Yes.
affirm this state of
we expressed that earlier today, what Satedo Peter said with regards to Nigerians deserve transparency in this matter. It's too contentious, it's a divisive order, and a lot of people want to see the outcome, especially because now all eyes on the National Assembly, who are the ones who are the determining factor in whether or not the suspension will go through, and whether or not they would uphold the Constitution, as in a number of people have said that the directive was unconstitutional. So later today, yesterday was the first day, they were not able to achieve quorum. So later today, they are going to be, debating on that, and then a vote will be passed. What is expected or what is required constitutionally is 2/3 majority in both houses, so Senate and the House of Representatives. If you look at the makeup of the House currently, of the National Assembly currently, APC has majority, but not enough majority on its own to form 2/3 to achieve, the passing on to accept the declaration by the president. However, this is where the opposition parties come in. So the PDP, the Labour Party, Youth Party, all those who make up the opposition parties, this is where they come in, and whether or not they will vote in favor of the president or not. We saw what played out already. The arguments have started in the House of Representatives. There are people for, there are people against. Senator Serake Dixon was on our platform last night. He had talked about how he was against, he didn't agree with this. So there's even division in the National Assembly. Absolutely. We want to see who is going to vote. There are rumors that there is intel that they are looking to have a voice vote in the National Assembly. We don't want that. Absolutely. Nigerians deserve to see how the people they elected into office are voting on this matter, so we can actually hold to account those who are for and against the upholding of the Constitution and the rule of law, in the nation. Beyond that, I think it's important to mention just about the military presence in Rivers State, that the presidency has said that 10,000 troops were sent to Rivers State to contain vandalism in the state. And don't forget that the sole administrator is also a retired Vice Admiral. So you will see military presence. At least so far, there's been some sort of peace. We haven't heard of any vandalism of pipelines or anything. And that brings to the question again, the justification for the declaration of a state of emergency. That how bad was the situation?
How bad was it?
A number of people in Rivers State said things were not that bad. There was calm, at least relative peace and calm in the state, aside from the recent incident, which was one, and then the pipelines already back on stream, like you mentioned earlier on. So was the violence justifiable? We've seen even more violence in other parts of the country, and a state of emergency was not declared. So how fair was that decision?
All right, Dr. Abati, we've talked a lot about different things, but I wanted you to just touch on the swearing in of Ibas. And in Ibehe Efyong's tweet there, where he was talking about the justification of withholding Rivers allocation, and now they're saying that they're going to, give it to...
we spoke with Chief Saraibe, Chief Saraibe, and he was saying he too is shocked that the resources of Rivers State that the court had said would not be available to the government of Rivers State is now going to be handed over to a complete stranger who has been appointed sole administrator for 6 months. I think people are legitimately concerned about that. But the bigger issue that we can insist upon is about accountability. Who ensures accountability in this particular case? And who is going to actually run that apparatus now that regulations will be passed down, to Rivers State from the Federal Executive Council. But I think, to sum up all of this is an issue that has generated considerable public interest.
Absolutely.
It has turned everybody into a lawyer, including roadside mechanics. Everybody now knows Section 308, Section whatever. I think what is important here is that we should test the law. Fubara has been quoted as saying, well, he has accepted the declaration of emergency. If he has some balls, let him go to court because he has the locus. Let the matter go all the way to the Supreme Court. Let the Supreme Court interpret the law fully so that it's not that everybody is bringing one view, another view. There will be lawyers who will argue from both sides, right? That's why in any case, you have a respondent, you have a defendant. I think there is need for us to test the relevant laws all the way to the Supreme Court. And we hope that we will not have the kind of situation that we had in Plateau State government, I think, Plateau State government versus Attorney General of the Federation, which was decided on the grounds of technicalities. We hope that the Supreme Court will have the courage to spell out the details and interpret this contentious issue. Because you do not know, I think it was the AGF that was referring to, that was saying other states should learn from the example of Rivers. Is that supposed to be a threat? Which state are they going to declare state of emergency?
You started talking about Osun.
We hope that Osun will not be
some people have muted the idea from the APC.
The next target. Yeah. I mean, we're criticizing this, but the court can help us resolve all the conundrums. Politicians, by their nature, are biased people. That's what Nikitobi, JSC, pointed out. But there should be no bias in this matter, and the court can give the clarity that is required. So the people who are abusing and calling names, they should just try to approach this with basic common sense.
All right.
If tomorrow we see what the government has done that is praiseworthy,
all right,
we will praise the same
Absolutely.
Government.
Right.
Don't we praise the government on this table?
We always do, but they forget.
But on the grounds of policy, public policy,
yes,
if we see omissions, I think it's our duty to also point those omissions out.
All right, again, no voice vote. That's what we've all agreed. Nigerians are calling for this whole debacle to be televised. The revolution must be televised. You know that, right? That's from Wakanda Forever. Well, all right. In the meantime, some constituents in Kogi Central have reportedly initiated a recall process against their senator, Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. The initiative claims to reflect a vote of no confidence, but has been criticized for misleading constituents by offering empowerment programs to collect signatures, as we'll see in these videos now making the rounds.
I could be here for the recall of Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan.
No, sir, we are not. We are here for empowerment.
But we are not aware about the recall by some group of APC.
No, so we are here for empowerment. We are not set to be here for empowerment. And we are given us instruction to come into our voters card. So that was the instruction given to us that we should be here with a voters card for empowerment. No, there's nothing like recall. We don't have anything against our senator, for God's sake. So why did we come?
This early morning, we were informed that we should come for an empowerment. When we get to the field, we are asked to bring our voters card. So they gave us a form to fill. You fill with your VIN and pen your signature. Then most of us will refuse that we cannot do that because we don't know that an empowerment can be done in this way. So we now left the field.
This is so disgraceful. You were saying that they are still gathering signatures secretly, but you know that the process has seen significant public participation, but the Independent National Electoral Commission has disowned the exercise, highlighting inadequacies. Before I come to you, Rufai, in the meantime, a federal high court in Abuja has lifted its previous order restraining the Senate from investigating Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan over her altercation with Senate President Godswill Akpabio. The court had initially halted the probe after Akpoti-Uduaghan sought judicial intervention, but the Senate proceeded, leading to her suspension on March 6th. The decision followed a challenge to the ex parte order. The court ruled on March 19th to vacate it, reaffirming the Senate's authority. The case is set for further hearings on March 25th. Rufai, over to you.
There's a couple of things. And Oji, see, in all of this, we should just say things the way they are, not because it favors us. All right? And in all of this matter, from the Tinubu matter to this Natasha matter, it's constantly the quest for the truth. But I am not surprised that people are quick to change mouths. Anyway, these are the same persons at some point that said they could swear to God that President Tinubu won the election. So I'm not surprised. But as regards this Natasha Akpoti's matter, I was also the one that broke the story from my intel a night before.
You mean the
recall story? You can go and check the empirical facts there. I was the first that broke it a night before it happened. And I got an intel that they were going to do it. And what was the ploy? The ploy was to tell people that they wanted to do empowerment for them. to deceive them. So when some of them got wind of that, they started leaving. But some still had to stay and collect the pittance. INEC has said they don't know anything about the process, but they're still collecting signatures. As regards the court case, we all know that the Senate violated that court order initially. So they went ahead, but now the Federal High Court is just vacating that order because the Senate had violated it, still went ahead to suspend that in the first place. So where is the path for rule of law and democracy in this country as we speak today? What we are just saying is that we should be fair across board and we should speak the truth at all times. And that's it. I'm not saying you can't have your own personal opinions, but something that is right at a point should also be right. The truth has a level of constance to it. It must be constant. If it's right today, it should be right tomorrow. And all of this fight we are fighting is for the principle and the sanctity of democracy in this country. I'm not saying politicians don't have their shenanigans. I've said it at the start of this weekend Fubara fight, that Fubara too is also as complicit because he benefited from the system. When he was working in his favor, he didn't say anything. But it's now just on the path of principle they were fighting for Fubara. And Dele Farotimi said it rightly. Do not die in these people's war. But we need to speak up for principle at all times in this country.
Absolutely. Okay, go ahead.
I was just going to reiterate the point with regard to the court case.
The court case,
You recall that at that time, it was being said on this table that, the committee that was investigating Senator Natasha, had received a court order and they hurriedly, sat and order. And I said at that time, okay, let us wait. If you are contemptuous of court order, the same court can charge you for contempt, either in the face of the court or away from the face of the court. Now, the same judge, Justice Iguatu, has, vacated that order for. And the whole point, which I was making at that time, is that I would be surprised that a court of law can dictate to the judiciary, and that the best path to take is for enforcement of fundamental human rights, if you feel that an injustice has been done in terms of your basic rights. But for a court of law, within the principles of separation of powers, I think I quoted Montesquieu on that occasion, and that's what the court has reaffirmed. The judge has just rested that matter while dealing with the other substantive issues.
All right. I'd like your thoughts really on the process that I heard is still going on in Kogi Central at this moment.
This action or what's happening in this particular case begins to make you question the people who are very determined to ensure that she's out because of an allegation she made and what Nigerians are asking for, not just in this matter, but just to demonstrate the protection of the rights of women and officers in the assembly that were asking for an investigation. And because one person, and she said it during an interview we took it yesterday, that she feels that the reason for her suspension is because they want to silence her. Is this not giving credence to that? That they'll go, how many senators have they taken this level of efforts to recall as a result of what they've done? We've had senators who were found, fighting in sex toy shops. We've had senators who slapped another senator in the chambers. None of them, this action was taken. But because someone said because of his seat she wasn't moving, and then that escalated to her giving the reason for which she was being maligned and asked to move, because of an alleged sexual harassment, all of a sudden she's person non grata, she's having to be granted interview. This matter, as in the same case as what we said with the Rivers issue, could have been sorted out a lot better without it getting to this level. Then what is happening there is also what we've been saying a lot, the weaponization of poverty and ignorance. I think it is fraudulent for you to ask people to come for a particular cause and then use the signature that you get from them to further your own personal agenda. It is fraudulent. It should be also investigated, and anyone who is found behind that, it's not enough for INEC to just say, we are not responsible for that. It's an act of fraud, and it ought to be investigated. Anyone culpable should be brought to book.
Well said, Ayo. Very well said. Now let's take our good news report. The governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, on Wednesday inaugurated ultra-modern schools in Ikorodu and Koshofe for junior and senior college students as part of his administration's commitment to providing quality education in Lagos. The governor went on a tour of the schools and engaged with the students, as we'll see in this video now making the rounds on social media.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
That's correct engagement. I really love to see all those videos. You love when I say Koni Baje, but I think he's really
very inspiring for the governor to visit a school.
Absolutely.
You never know any of those children.
Can you imagine?
May just be inspired.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes,
and then secondly, you know, he's doing this in about 16 schools.
Yes, it's amazing.
And they visited two schools yesterday.
Right.
One in Odi Onirin.
Right.
Another one in Ajegunle, Kosofe local government. But I saw the governor dancing.
Yes, he was dancing.
I think the Adeleke effect has come to
It's
Lagos.
great inspiration. I'd love to thank you all for your great analysis, as always, on what's trending. Ekoni Baje, congratulations, Governor Sanwo-Olu. Well, that's all I have for you guys on what's trending today. I'll see you all tomorrow.